Alright, here we have our long overdue and favorite headmaster, Lucilla. A character that had the unfortunate time slot of releasing while I had no time, but moreover right with the Cyberpunk collab. She's a resonator with a very interesting resonance ability we can somewhat find in her outfit, and definitely has big assets. So let's take a closer look. From the front, what looks like a two-piece is actually a dress, sitting very high up at the hip and continuing under her wide-sleeved jacket. She has her brimmed hat, which we'll look at closer later, and quite the open From the side, the jacket actually looks kind of awkward since it cuts up so high. The dress also could pass as a leg pant from here and has a slit on the side here too. Her hat has a bow around most of her hair length, and her heels are really stereotypically clicky high and a sleek black. The back, surprisingly, is actually mostly covered in comparison to the front. The skirt is the broadest here, with quite interesting patterns we'll look at later. Same with the sleeves, the hair goes quite far over the jacket, and she's actually a rare case of no open back. At least in her normal form, and nobody speak about the old form, please. The last side is definitely the more open one, but aside from a ring being on a different finger and looking slightly different, this side is mostly the same, top, arm, and bust-wise. Lucilla's bangs are something I've always liked in anime. The middle and off-standing side bangs are really cute on most characters, and even on a headmaster type character, they look really nice. I think Chun-Li also has similar sides. It's just an overall preference. Her hair in general doesn't have much special to it, due to the hat taking most of the show, but it's a dark purple outside with straight strands and slightly curled ends all around. The back has a braid with a little ponytail going from it, and a silver and pearl metallic head ornament clipped to her hair, I believe. The out and inside has either a brighter gradient or is bright outright, and there's an actual noggin under her hat. Depending on if or if not the character ever takes off their hat, the head is usually missing due to clipping or reduction of mesh. Her face is more cute, oddly, than the usual authoritative in my opinion. Teachers in anime which wear more scandalous clothes usually have a certain face type. Lucilla, though, has more wider eyes, with blush and eyeshadow, a mole under her eye, and quite the opaque lipstick. Her eyelashes have a hint of purple in them, along with very, very long lashes. Her eyes are also purple, in dark and in lavender, with a red ring, reflections, and a dark pupil in the center. It might be supposed to resemble some sort of camera lens with all the slight reflections, but that might be reading too much into it. Visual mesh-wise, she's a bit different from the late usual. Due to her being relevant for quite a few story quests, I'm not really sure if she really had this many off the get-go, or just amassed them, but she has a lot more CH movements and options in general that I haven't found on the newer ones. Perhaps they just removed them because they didn't need them, but I'm missing the tongue out one on a lot of the new ones. Accessory-wise, she has her dark hat with waves across it, golden details and a green bow with the school symbol on it, as well as the end of it having a memory film-like cut at the end. She also has silver and pearl earrings, floating of course, which have a nice crystal glass-like effect. Further down, she's a little bit silly up close. Looking at the collar first, it's the same color as the dress, with silver lines as the buttons, which don't really make sense, but alas, and a bow like the one on her hat, with a white one underneath at the front. There's an interesting symbol I don't recognize or remember seeing anywhere in Lahairoi at the front, and a line of pearls. The dress, as I've said, is black, I think. Come on, tell me the color of her eyes. And very deeply cut at the middle with a singular crossed fabric over the front, trying its best to hold the two halves together. On top of this is her white jacket. Now, detail-wise, she's a little more sleek compared to the rest. We have a lot of fabric lines and textures along the collar and the sides, but there's not the usual 50 belts and danglies and chains all over, and the ones she does have are more strategically placed. Regardless, the inside of the jacket seems blue, if it wasn't obvious with the collar being propped up here, featuring stars and a checkered pattern. Attached to the collar is her teacher ID with her side portrait. The arms have the strategic belt placement I was talking about. While it may look like just a white jacket with wavy patterns, I really adore the slight cinching silver belts with pointy ends over what seems to be the zipper for her jacket arms. Further down the white part, we have our familiar Lahairoi triangle spam and rings similar to her leg strap. The inside, as I've mentioned, is blue, with a slight iridescent touch to it and silver studs. The rest of the arm is bare until the wrist, where she has this humongous silver bangle with rings, pearls, and a shiny blue gem in the middle. Her hand isn't visible, nor are unfortunately her nails, but instead she has a lined glove with another bangle on top, techie lines over it, and different rings over the thumb, pointer, and ring finger. Two are merely silver, with either indented or cut out rings, while the other on the pointer has a pretty sapphire gem. The other side is exactly the same sleeve and glove-wise, however the rings are on the pointer and middle finger, with similar different designs. It kind of just seems she bought a pack of 5 rings at a dollar store and called it a day. Back to her jacket, we have another nice looking broad waist belt, also in silver, with a big mechanical clasp with more blue gems and a gold middle piece. The belt goes all the way around to the back with a metal clasp. The back is actually a rarity in WUWA models, because it's not visible here. I know it's in her alt form, I believe, something Kuro back fetish, but it's a nice cape-like design with stars on the back to connect the two white sleeves together. Moving further down, we have her dress. The more visible part at least, with cuts on both sides. One is quite noticeably wider than the other. There's also another sleek triangle pattern with a gradient. The two halves to the very open side are connected via the silver ring chain with a weird female rover-like, really awkward grey short underneath, which really shouldn't work as shorts. The back has the belt going out to both sides, and is definitely more covered with tech patterns and behind shading. The less cut side has more overlapped belts in the front here, with silver plates with writing, and there's the same iridescent effect from her sleeves at the end of the dress. The inside, much like the jacket, is blue, though definitely a lot more muted, and she has a very tight ring leg strap on the more exposed side. There's nothing left on her legs, so all the way down we have her shoes. Sleek black simple heels with silver studs around the lining. Her tasset mark is down here as well, but aside some more silver details and a more felt textured underside with some more writing, there's nothing much to say down here. Nice ankle and bone shading too, though no toes. Lucilla, despite being a headmaster and very important throughout saving Amy and helping us, just seemed a little bit shoved in. I didn't mind her character, not at all, but I have to say I really didn't care about her either until Hiyuki showed up. Also, her time slot of being right next to Lucy and Rebecca was a little bit unfortunate. Regardless, I really like her sleek, less bullshit design, if you may, and I might get her during a rerun. But what about you? Have you gotten her yet? And is she even worth for the rerun? Tell me down below. I hope you enjoyed this much belated dissection and have a nice day. Bye bye.